welcome to TMC Connect. Drop in the chat what the weather's like where you are. My name is Tony Bramley, and I'm the Director of Business Development here at the Mortgage Collaborative. Thank you guys so much for coming to the TMC Connect session today. Ignite Next Level Solutions for Next Gen with Brad Ketcher, VP of Business Development with Ignite. Hey, Brad, how are you?
Doing well, Tony. How about yourself?
I am doing fantastic. Really do appreciate everybody being here. Want to kind of just give you the ground rules. You have come in on mute, but we do want this to be engaging. So if, as Brad's going through his presentation, you've got any questions at all, please drop them in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll go over those at the end of the presentation. And then as a follow-up, we will provide an email with Brad's contact information as well. Brad, are you going to share this deck?
Yes, I can share the deck and the recording of today's session as well.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Well, without further ado, Brad, take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Tony. And thank you, everybody, for taking time out of your day today to join for the webinar. I'll try to make it as insightful as possible and also try to be cognizant of time. And also to the Mortgage Collaborative, just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to have today's webinar and being a great partner. So for people that are not familiar with the Mortgage Collaborative, they are a great organization, very lender centric. I think around 250 lenders and about 70 vendors. So it's not that salesy. And at the same time, they have two conferences, of which one is coming up in March in San Diego. So if anybody's looking to escape the cold, the Mortgage Collaborative in San Diego sounds really enticing at this moment. So in terms of Ignite, Ignite was officially founded in 2013. We are a collection of mortgage consultants and Encompass admins and software developers. So we're all full-time. We're all based in the U.S. and we pride ourselves in trying to help out with automation, workflows, visibility, predominantly with the Encompass environment. But we also are a technology company. So if you need a database administrator or any help in terms of IT guidance for your servers or firewalls, by all means, that's some of our core competencies. So in terms of today, let's see, we are, I was doing some research before today's call, and we saw last week or 2 weeks beforehand that, let's see, so I saw that the cost of a loan has increased, unfortunately, and it seems like over 50% of the loans are at a loss when they're closing. And at the same time, the time to close has increased significantly. So we're at 51 days on average time to close. That came from Encompass. Encompass has their analytics called Insight, and it was at 48 days almost a year ago, and now we're at 51 days. So going in the wrong direction. So the question is, why is that happening? There could be plenty of reasons, but I also did a poll last week. I sent out a constant contact to about 5,000 predominantly Encompass users, and the results came back that about 30% of lenders are not using tools or do not have any type of applications. And I will say for a system like Encompass, that tools applications are really incredibly helpful. There's a possibility, and then getting into satisfaction, that only 32% came back saying that their tools and applications were great versus a large majority thought they were either mediocre or not good. So there's a possibility of just lining up with the wrong vendor, possibility of trying it once and not getting a second chance. Definitely they're vendors that don't have great customer service, or they're vendors that are software developers that do not know anything about mortgages or Encompass. So I'll say on the Ignite side, we really pride ourselves in 100% functionality, customer satisfaction, customer support is everything to us. And at the same time, since we know mortgages so well, I personally have been head of processing, head of sales, 120 people. That was pretty challenging. So capital markets I've been in twice. I've managed the servicing of portfolio for 8 years. So I know mortgages very, very well. And I'm just one spoke of the wheel. We have people that know construction loans, TPO loans, Encompass setup. So happy to help out wherever we can. And I will say that the thing about Encompass is that it's incredibly customizable. So you really want to make sure that any solutions that you're buying cater to your needs. And from that perspective, I highly recommend that whenever a salesperson is showing you their solutions that you should ask them to show how their solutions fit with your specific environment, your specific needs. Whenever I give a demonstration, I always say, throw me curveballs, interrupt me, please put me to the test, because I want to make sure that it actually really does work for you versus me just, selling something off the shelf or offering you custom development. So in terms of attestation, so Ignite is a gold vendor partner with ICE Mortgage Technology. That's a really, really big deal. Last I checked, there were over 250 vendors with ICE, and only 3 are gold status, us being one of them. That's a really big accomplishment. That's based on, of course, partly on volume, but it's also client feedback, innovation, quality of solutions, how frequently we're asked to be on webinars or panels at conferences. So that's a big deal. At the same time, the Mortgage Collaborative, they could provide feedback and of course, recognition over the years. We focus on workflow, automation, scalability, really just trying our hardest to help out your Encompass environment. And we have, I want to say 30 tools, and tools, our definition of tools is that they're configurable by the Encompass admin, versus we have applications, and the applications are really development that we have somewhat off the shelf. It could be custom or it could be recycled. And a great example is like Jack Henry, Silver Lake, or Scimitar, that yes, we have core banking integrations, but at the same time, each one is going to be unique. So the application component will be catered to your specific needs. And from that perspective, we're pulling data, we're pulling documents. So this is what I'm going to go through very soon. So here, let me look at eFolder cleanup. And from that perspective, if you go into a loan, when you're ordering when you're ordering services, then each and every time the services are run, you get a new document placeholder, which really clouds up your Encompass environment. So I know I just jumped right into this. So this is Ignite's eFolder cleanup. And the thing is that you will have multiple placeholders each and every time. So every time credit report, mortgage insurance, it gets very clunky. And then there's only one document attached to each loan. So what we're doing is we're compiling that into a master document folder. So let me X out of here. Normally here, let me jump into the screen. Let me queue up this loan, and then I'm gonna save and exit. So basically the reason why I'm doing this is because there's an application component. So I don't know if it's 5 minutes or every 10 minutes, but that's why I just wanted to kind of like queue it up and make sure that the application, when it wakes up, it's going to go to it. But in the end, so here's the loan, it's number 161. And the thing is that when the application wakes up, it's going to find that loan has been targeted. So this would be automated. We would just have basically like a custom field humming in the background that when the loan is updated at a certain point, then we will target the loan. So even though I manually queued it up, that's really just for demonstration purposes. But when the application's in your environment, it's going to happen. So cool part is that the Encompass admin can say, I want these specific document folders to be crunched into one single document folder up here. So it's gray. So that means that the application identified the loan, it's working, and then it's going to be. So you're going to see a very clouded eFolder, and then it's going to be much more slimmed down. So what we're able to do is the Encompass admin can say, I want these documents to be crunched into one versus these to be ignored. Great example is appraisal. I want each appraisal feedback to be its own unique. I want each, I don't know, title policy to be unique. However, when it's mortgage insurance, when it's fraud review, when it's this or that, then you might say, you know what, you might as well just crunch it all into one. And here we go. So I'm going to jump right into it. And keep in mind that it was very, very cloudy beforehand. And here it is, voila. So when I go into it for a compliance report, you're going to see that there are a lot of different compliance reports, 5, of which only the last one, the latest and greatest, is current version, and we've unchecked all the previous current versions. So this is also configurable. So if you think of a grid, it's kind of like, do you want to merge these documents, yes or no? And at the same time, do you want to uncheck current version? So yes or no. So I have the choice of leaving all of these current versions and just not touching that at all. So this way, maybe you could say the users are managing the current version, or the solution itself can manage it. So it's, I should have probably taken a screenshot, but on the recording, you'll see it. But it's the before and after. The other part is that if there are any dates here, that will all be aggregated to the merged folder. And then if there are any comments, or if there are any comments with like annotations on the document, that's all being saved. So it's a really, really robust solution that just keeps your e-folder nice and clean. So that is the first solution that I really want to go through. So again, e-folder cleanup, merges documents. We could also automatically rename documents. There's one point of sale company that whenever you have an LE, it'll say LE pound 1. Then the next one that comes in is LE pound 2, LE pound 3, LE pound 4. So we can automatically rename that into loan estimate. And then when there is more than one loan estimate folder, then our application wakes up and then it just processes it and merges it together. So we can make that standard. We could also delete any document folders after a certain point. So that's another thing that we could do. So this way, it's just any and all things to clean up the e-folder. The e-folder, in our perspective, is the nucleus of Encompass. You want to make sure that it's done correctly. So let me exit out of here. I'm going to open up a brand new loan. So this way, it'll be no tricks up my sleeve. Let's see, boom, boom, boom. So I went into the prospects folder. I'm just going to say this is going to be an FHA loan. Takes a couple of seconds just to load up because all the business rules, loan programs and whatnot are going to have to start loading. And I'm only going to throw in a couple of data points. So I don't know if anybody could see this, but it's showing today is Thursday, January 19th, 2023. The time right now is 2:13. So I will say that this is going to be Brad. Let's see, webinar. Okay, social 111 22 1 2 3 4. And let's see. You know, I hate using my name with the negative. So let's just say, I'm sorry if I'm offending any Denises on this phone, and I will say separated. The reason behind that is because what I want to do is work with our automation, automated conditions, and I can say that if this scenario is happening, then I want something a condition to be associated to it. So here is field 220. I'm going to say is what's an easy number we can remember? 345.77. Okay, so now I have gift funds that are needed. And if I go into borrower summary, I could say that this is a purchase. Here, in terms of unit type, I think I have some conditions on condo. I said this is a purchase. It's FHA, and I think we're good to go. So in the E folder, you will see, because this is a brand new loan, that there are no preliminary conditions. There are no underwriting conditions. I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to hit save. Am I sure I want to hit save? And then it's running. So what we're able to do, and I'll show you this in a minute of how logic is being built, but we can say, if this, then do that. So we could say, if it's an FHA loan, then you need all of these items for FHA loans. If it's a VA loan, if it's a down payment assistance loan, you could also even go a step further to say that if they're investor overlays. Let's see. Oh, actually, it's saved already. Let's see. So if I go into, let's see. So actually, I just click save, so now it's saving again. All right, so if I go into the E folder, there should be some preliminary conditions, and here you are. So it's an FHA loan, so immediately it's loading up. These are the FHA items that I need. It's the property, it's needing flood insurance, and then I don't have any rules built for gift funds. If I go into underwriting conditions, I have no conditions here right now. If I wanted to, I could also build rules to be manually applied. So here's underwriting conditions. I hit OK. I get a pop-up. Are you sure you want to proceed? I hit yes. Takes a couple of seconds. I always just hover over the E folder, and then just about ready to show that. So we have a very, very large client that wants it to be manually applied, and every single time the underwriter receives a loan file, they just reapply conditions. So this way now it's, let's see. Oh, so, and then let's see, and here you go. So here's gift funds. So the other part is, notice that this is saying gift receipt of funds 345.77. So we have created a solution that instead of having that $ and then underscore, now instead you could actually populate the condition with field IDs. And that's really impactful. So this way, instead of a borrower receiving a pre-approval or an underwriting letter, that now you have something that is actually catered to them. So in terms of how it works, without going too deep into this, but it is, I can add a condition, modify, delete a condition, okay? So if I add a condition, then I could say in terms of rules, I could say gift funds. I could write a whole paragraph here, or I could say 2023-01, today's the 19th, and then Jennifer S asked for this. So now this is my change management. So I know the date that I went to production. This is for standard conditions, like the older conditions. You have 3 different folders. We also have this for enhanced conditions, and that's API based versus this is SDK based. And for that, the screen looks a little bit different, but very, very similar. And then you could choose automated versus regular execution. And then now I could highlight these 3. Notice $ bracket field 220. So that's the field it's referencing. And on the right, we're just identifying that this document will be associated to the loan and have a document placeholder immediately. And then I can say, do not, like if I don't know the field, I could click binoculars. These are all the fields, minus virtual fields, but these are all the fields in my environment. So if I type in, I don't know, CX, you can see all the custom fields. And if I know that it needs submitted, I just type in a couple of letters. I found date submitted. Say is not blank, meaning that it's being accomplished. And then here I'll say field 220 is greater than 0. So great. So now I know when to apply the condition and what the logic point is. If I wanted to, I could double click on the and. It gives me an or. I could add parentheses. So kind of any if then logic that you want, we could create. Okay, so this is fantastic. And I always kind of get into if I had like a 1-2 punch, it would be automated conditions and auto roll assignment. And that's going to really help out with a lot of work. So let's see, and then moving along in terms of conditions. So just to recap, we have standard conditions or enhanced conditions. They can be manually applied or automatically applied. And then 2 other ones that I just going to talk about at a high level, docs on demand. So this is any document set. It has to be configured, so we're not going to pull it from Encompass admin settings, but any document set can be created at any time. And that is great functionality. So instead of a user finding the loan, clicking on a loan, asking to extract the documents, and having a screen frozen for 5 to 10 minutes, and then going loan by loan by loan, instead, our solution can programmatically identify a loan for processing. Maybe we have the application working on 5-minute intervals. So then you could say that, here's an example, an investor that's not part of Investor Connect. So I'll just make up a name, Hills and Rath, Financial. So we can monitor the loan has funded, the investor is Hills and Rath, and then therefore we're going to automatically pull whatever documents are needed for that investor. And then the funder is going to just go to the shared folder, and then whatever naming convention you want, it's going to be right there. Loan number underscore last name. So it's the workflow just happens. Like automation is a great feature. The other part is that SFTP. So if there's a vendor that you want us to pick up documents in a certain stacking order, if you want us to create one document, like a stacked PDF, one PDF that has all the different documents aggregated into it, or if you want the individual documents, we can do that. So that's great for vendor integrations. And then here's another thought. Everybody's going to have an audit at some point. So if you need 100, 200, 500 loan files where you're extracting all the documents, this is built so well that you can just create a custom checkbox and then use a batch update tool, which of course we have a batch update solution. Just check the boxes on the 500 loans that you need, and then our application will say if CX dot whatever equals yes, then target that loan for processing. So what could take days or weeks, we could slim down into less than 10 minutes and just wait, and then our application will process the loans. If the loan is occupied, then technically that's an error because the application cannot get in there and do what it needs. And then once it finishes, it'll wake up and then process it another time. The reason why it's an error is because we normally provide a write back date. So if we can't edit a field and publish a date in that field, then that's why it would error out. So so when the application finishes, then it'll wake up and then process again, and then pick and keep trying until it completes the entirety of that list. So that's Docs on Demand. We've had a doc transmitter for 8 years, if I was to take a guess. So it's API based, it's incredibly quick, incredibly efficient, and greater functionality than anything I know that's out there. And it works 100% of the time. I've heard some people using robotic process automation that works 90%. Anything under 100% means that it has to be recalibrated. So data warehouse. So it's been a very, very hot topic lately. So data warehouse, we have the SDK and the API version. Basically, we're taking a snapshot of the loan. On average, people are looking for around 2,000 fields. So we'll have the data extracted from the loan file and saved into a SQL database. If you want Ignite to host, we can. If you want to host within your servers, your technical environment, we can do that as well. And basically, each time the loan is saved, that flags the loan for processing, and then we'll overwrite the data within a SQL data table. And from that, you could build automated reports. We have applications that you can create automated reports from it, or you can link it up with a business intelligence platform. So those are the 4 solutions I wanted to talk about today. And let's see, we have plenty of solutions to offer. I'm not saying that each and every one is needed or right for you, but I'm happy to walk through and see what you're looking to accomplish. We have bundled packages, we have a la carte. We're as client friendly as you could possibly ask for. And then we also have just a whole slew of applications that could help out with automation, right? So here's new solutions: eFolder cleanup, Docs on Demand. We have core banking integrations. We have MERS automation for registration and servicing transfer, HUD integrations. It's just pretty much, we have, I think, all the different categories that you can look for. So that's it for today's webinar. And actually, that's a good point. I should show my face again. So let me know if there are any questions or comments in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to answer.
We did get a few, but feel free to drop them in so that we can go over your questions. But I do have a few questions here. On the data warehouse, can it be powered up with Power BI? Can it be linked up with Power BI?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll say that one of the hardest things to do is extract the data from Encompass, especially in an automated fashion. So that is what our data warehouse could do. So once you have the data, then we could forward it to just about any business intelligence platform. So Power BI is very, very popular right now. I believe it's called the Power BI desktop. And yes, we could link data warehouse to Power BI to make it an automated feed, and data is probably up to date within every 20 minutes at most is my guess. Yep.
Excellent, thank you. Another one that came in where you're talking about the condition tool. Yes. Can custom fields be used with the condition tool?
Yes, in fact, 100% of the custom fields can be used for logic. And from that perspective, I forgot to say that the fields do not have to be in the reporting database. So it's just about like any field can be used. If it's a virtual field, we have a way to make that obtainable. So we could pretty much use just about any field for logic. And we as an Ignite can help you with the setup. So it's a solution that we're familiar with. We have a great cadence to figure out, extract your conditions. We'll create the logic in a spreadsheet, and then once we get the thumbs up, then we'll actually help code the application so it's much quicker to market.
Excellent. And then is Ignite, can you help with custom solutions?
Absolutely. We're building new solutions all the time. We do a lot of work with vendors as well. So if there's a vendor on this call, we've done integrations with sub-servicing, loan boarding. We've done core banking and QC integrations. So absolutely, if you have a need that's specific to your environment, or if you feel like you have a new idea that you want Ignite to create, then we can work with you, where if we think it's resellable, I can work with you in terms of pricing. And that's the other thing, is don't think that everything is expensive or cheap, or let us walk through to make sure that the return on investment is there. Again, we're all trying to grow our business and here to help out.
Excellent, thanks. Now I just had a question. So I've heard next gen with Ellie Mae for a long time. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I started with Ignite 6 years ago. In 4 days, it will be 6 days, 6 years. And so was it 2017? And they were like, next gen, it's coming in like 2 months. So everybody has their own definition of what next gen is. Some people will say it's the conversion from SDK technology, which requires a lot more maintenance, to API. Some people are saying next gen is on the web. So everybody has their own definition of it. But in the end, it's kind of like such a watered down phrase, where it just means whatever the future of whatever their roadmap is going to be next gen. But I'll say that Ignite has converted just about all of our solutions to API based. API is way cleaner, more efficient, thorough. There are some people that use robotic process automation, and I just keep hearing that it's clunky. It needs a lot of maintenance. It's prone to breaking when not done perfectly accurate. So from that perspective, we'll find the right solution that will stand the test of time and deliver the impact that you're looking for.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Brad. Appreciate it as always. Excellent content. Thank you to everyone who came today for TMC Connect. Come back, take a look at our member engagement calendar on our website, and come back anytime. Appreciate your time. There will be a follow-up email tomorrow with a link to the video, as well as information for Brad if you want to contact him. And thank you very much. Everybody have a great weekend, and look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you, everybody, for your time. Thanks to TMC. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.